So I want to talk about the reality of not having Megatins this year. Now make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. So a couple little things to kind of touch on right now with the state of Yu-Gi-Oh! And the no Megatin announcement. Now every year we have had Megatins. I swear since what, like 02, 03, 04, it's been 20 years that we've had the tin product. And somehow Konami had the best year of tins, which was 2019. It was an amazing year. They designed the product, the best specification they had. We had Nibiru. We had so many good cards in that tin. And then Konami just decided to gut promos out of the tin. And they were like, oh, you know, this is such a good idea. What if we just rip the promos out of the tins? Surely nobody's going to miss them. And then significantly year after year, tin value started to depreciate. And then they were like, oh, what if we bring back one tin promo? What if it's a quarter century card that you could pull in the exclusive rarity? That'll get them back, right? And then the next year they just pulled out promos again. It's almost like Konami has no idea what their player base actually wants. Now, once again, if we go back to the 2019, 2018, 2017 model where we were building in these promo cards, it was having guaranteed value in your tins was a saving grace. It made the consumer feel like, oh, hey, you know, I can go spend a little bit of money to buy this. I get the guaranteed promo cards, and you were basically set. Now, I wonder if Konami could have viewed this as a negative aspect. I wonder if Konami looked at the promo tin model and said, people are going to stop buying these after 3 tins because they got the guaranteed promos. But if we take that away, they'll keep buying these tins until eventually they pull the cards that they need. And insert, corporate level greed here. But that model eventually led to helping the decline of the tins. And I hate to say that, but that's what happens. All right. You take the good models, you take the great configuration, and then you start to bloat these sets. Last year's tins were one of the biggest sets that we've ever had. And guess what? You couldn't pull these cards to save your life. It was nearly impossible to get those rarity upgrades. Now, they did take one step in the right direction. They said, well, what if we got the tins and we just put them in like a little special edition? Well, then the tins themselves ended up becoming a coveted product, while the other exact same version of the product that was cheaper just flushed down the toilet. People wanted to collect the tins, which is such a reverse mindset sort of thing when you look at the way that the marketing should be. But if you look back on the sealed cases of those tins from last year, they are significantly more expensive than the differentiation of the product between the two and just the little blister special editions that they had, which is mind-boggling to me. You mean to tell me that these little stupid dividers that they had last year, these right here, were a significant enough reason to go pick up the tins? To some people, they were. And that's absolutely crazy to me to think about. So, failing model because they could not figure out, logistics. And also, I don't know if you know this or not, but with the state of the world, yes, real life events happen. They were getting these tins ported in from China. I don't know if you guys have heard some of the stories throughout the years. You probably didn't, because I don't think you're deeply seated into things, but there's a lot of talk about tins just constantly being delayed on being ported over from China into America, and due to logistics issues, there was less tins available last year. It's one of the things that a lot of people are kind of talking about in the background. So the current state of issues within the world, either, tariffs, import cost, design cost, rising prices of gas to get these tins made and get them ported over, are also contributing factors as to basically eradicating the tins out of existence, which unfortunately is kind of disappointing. There's not really much I feel like you can do at that point because, with logistics, you have to make sacrifices. Now, tins being the mega packs over the years, and we specifically re-reference back to last year with the sets bloating up so much. Players were very unhappy with the logistics of these sets. You're getting backed into a corner where you're like, oh boy, I want to buy tins, but at the same time, you just really cannot justify the price when you could just go buy singles at that stage and get guaranteed versus, the uptaking of things. And also, eliminating the tins actually does Konami a favor. This is actually the most interesting part of the whole aspect of tins, besides logistics failing issues and Konami not going or understanding what a good promo card is. Konami's modern era issues have stemmed from the fact that there have been too many reprints. And I think every Yu-Gi-Oh player kind of understands this. Look at last year's product sets. None of those sets maintained a good value for a while. And that was Konami's make and model. The reprint policy is pushing these cards through, and we're seeing these turn over very quickly, but it's hurting player confidence in product. You don't want sets like Duad to be $25 after a month of release. Why would any LGS, why would any sane person want to buy this product when it's this cheap? By eradicating the tin model out of existence, you now not only create 500 cards of reprint equity every single year, you now create player and consumer confidence in the former product. That means I can now go out and I can pick up a box of Duad and finally feel like, oh, the $50, $60, $70, for example, like Blazing Dominion. Some of the cost of these products, I can feel happy that my money is going to go a little bit further. Now, a lot of people did like Konami's aggressive reprint policy. They liked that, you could buy a card within 6 to 7 months, it'd be reprinted, it'd become affordable. That's good, but there has to be a balance, people. That there has to be a balance where, if the store's not wanting to buy the product, you're not going to get that cheap product. I'm sorry to tell you that. If stores are not willing to stock this, and that was the thing. Unfortunately, you're about to see a major tipping scale in where a lot of these future-esque products are going to shift going forward. And I think, actually, watching the teeter-totter here go, the eradication of tins was good. The creation of reprint equity was something that Yu-Gi-Oh! Needed. It is kind of a shame to see the tins go, at least for this year. But I think it was too much of an issue for Konami to just keep this model going. The aggressive reprint policy is, I think, still intact. I don't think that has left. It's just, I think for right now, the need to diversify this product and create former value for, your 4 core sets every year. And you got to remember, the 4 core sets are supposed to be the most important sets for Yu-Gi-Oh! Those are your core anchors. Those are the things that they tell the main expansion of the story. They tell so much about the game. And if you're just having those products fail, then who cares about the game? That's the reality of the situation here. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is always a crazy line to say, I think they're getting their shit together. I think what we're seeing now is a correction of the course. I think it took them a very solid while to get this. It stinks that, we had to wait so long to get the overframe stuff. It was 6 to 7 months. But I'm happy that, this is how we're shaping this up. And Konami finally is getting the notice of what they need to do here. So, very curious to see where the course goes from here on reprints. How we're going to see certain key cards getting reprinted. And how aggressively the reprint policy will still remain intact based on the loss of the tins this year. Aren't you guys excited? This is kind of cool. I like this. I like when the game tries new things and actually creates value. Like, it's kind of nice. You buy some staples for once, and they're not actually going to get flushed down the shitter, where you're just like, oh boy, I love this game so much. I love my Forbidden Crowns that I just bought for $20, going down to $3 in a week. I love this game, but no, it's the opposite. Real question is where will these crowns settle now that we don't really see a reprint coming anytime soon? That's the world we live in now. So please, comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.